Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. I'm back with my friend Jason up here at Timeless Kustoms. All right, so what are we looking at? It's a 60 Bel Air, right?
This is a 1960 Bel Air. Belongs to a gentleman in Arizona named Frank Ramirez. This was his father-in-law's car, and his father-in-law left it to him. And we got into the car, and it was a little rougher underneath than we thought initially.
Yeah.
So the car received some extensive metal work, and it just kind of snowballed from there, and this is the end result.
Like a lot of times, obviously, you're doing pretty big power cars, 700, 800 at the tires, you know. This one's not that though, right?
No. So this is a stock LT1. It made 410 wheel, 430 foot-pounds of torque. Good cruiser.
I mean, that's perfect cruiser. And it's an automatic, right?
Automatic 4L75, 4-speed overdrive. This is a stock chassis car.
It is.
It is. So this is something we don't do very often,
right?
Right? We really believe that the chassis has everything to do with the way the car ends up. But we left the stock frame in this car. It has every ride tech piece that could be purchased for the car installed on it. So it has their tubular arms front and rear. It has a coilover conversion front and rear. It has their big tube sway bars front and rear. It's bare brake equipped, manual brakes.
What do you got going rear end? I missed before on asking you gearing and rear end.
So it still has the Chevy 57 through 62 rear end in it, which is a dropout center section rear end. It does have 373s and a posi and a set of axles in it, but it still carries that rear end. We didn't change it. Going with the lighter horsepower and the lighter transmission, the rear end is more than adequate.
Right. Now you said extensive metal work. What can you point out? I mean, there's the obvious, right? The spoiler
well,
up
you know,
front.
when I say metal work, I mean just to get it back to stock. So the car got lower quarter panels. It had door sectioning. We put fenders on it. It had a cowl repair done a long time ago that needed to be redone. But other than that, I mean, it's all factory sheet metal. There's not a lot done. The bumpers have been shortened, tucked in a little bit. All the bolt holes have been shaved. We shaved the door handles and the trunk lock, put everything on solenoids. Other than that, it's a very stock car.
I love the accent too of this gunmetal.
Both these colors are based off of BMW.
Oh, really?
We changed the metallic in it, go to a more coarse metallic, give it a little more reflection in the light. But both colors come straight from the 2022 BMW catalog.
I absolutely love the color on this car.
Cool.
So Dappers again for your lighting?
Dappers
do you
for
use
our
them
lighting?
exclusively?
We do, we do.
Yeah.
It's not just a beautiful headlight. When you drive behind a set of them, you really understand how important a headlight is at night. And they have a great light pattern. And going into the brights are incredible. These are LED versions, and we used to do the HID version. Both of them are exceptional.
Can we pop the hood and
of course. Yeah, we've shaved the firewall, cleaned up the firewall. It's got a set of Eddie Motorsports billet hinges on it. Built the radiator, built the reservoirs, killer cooling system, great fuel system, aeromotive in the tank always. We always run the WILWOOD 7/8 master cylinder. This is very production for us because it all works really well.
Yeah.
And it works well together. So
yeah. I mean, it makes sense to the stuff that's proven itself to work for you. Why wouldn't you keep using
Once
that,
you find that stuff that works, you stick with it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, dude.
For sure.
It's so funny because this is a subtle build for you, but at the same time, you start walking down, all the lines have been sharpened.
Yes, we spend,
you know, there's no ripples in the metal going down. I mean, that's a lot of metal to deal with.
I think this car is almost 19 feet long.
So I believe it.
It's
a
bunch of metal.
So, and is this Eric Thorson interior?
Yep. In-house Eric Thorson interior. Stock bench seats, front and rear, that have been taken down to the frames, refoamed to get them to shape and feel the way.
But it is the stock seat.
Yep.
Oh, so cool.
Bench. Tilt Flaming River steering column. The gauges are DAKOTA digital.
So everything's stock positions, right? It's just...
Correct.
Yeah.
This dash would have been carried from 59 to 60. I want to say this is probably one of General Motors' most popular dashes to retrofit into other street rods or hot rods.
Yeah, just slick, dude. And vintage era, I suppose, right?
Vintage era under the dash, absolutely. Retro sound head unit, big focal audio system in the trunk and in the kicks. One-piece suede headliner.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah.
I tell you, dude, this is one of my favorite cars you guys have done, which is crazy because you've done some that are just so much more radical, but I just find there's a lot of simplicity and artistry in the simplicity in this car.
I like stuff that just exaggerates what General Motors was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't get away from it.
There's times where you get so far away from what the original car is, you don't even know what it is anymore.
Absolutely.
This is not that.
It takes a lot of restraint to build a car like this.
Yeah.
The car's understated, and I like those cars.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I do too, man. I definitely do. I mean, the color definitely takes it away from being understated.
Absolutely. But you get inside the car, it's very mellow.
Yeah.
It's meant to cruise.
Yeah, you can I mean, as soon as you sit down here, honestly, dude, it's like the wheel's right where I want it. It's just like I'm ready to just go drive.
Absolutely.
I didn't ask about your wheels. I'm assuming, I know how much you guys love Forge Line.
Yep. Yeah, this is the 19-inch Forge Line. 19.9 up front, 1911 in the rear. Michelin pilots.
What size tires are you running?
That's a 265 up front and a 305 in the rear.
More than enough rubber for
Absolutely.
a car that's making 400 horsepower, right?
Yep. We've got an Eric Thorson trunk.
Really clean. God dang, that's a big trunk, isn't it?
Yeah, you could still put a lot of dead bodies in there.
Put a lot of dead bodies in there. Yeah, totally, man.
You know, I did forget to mention, the one cool thing about this car is this car would have had 2 taillights as a Bel Air, 2 small round taillights, and then as an Impala it would have had 3. Well, this car carries a set of 1960 Pontiac Bonneville taillights. So when we got the car, they were done, and we were like, you know, it'd be really cool to find another set of lenses because they were beat up. So during this whole build of this car, we were constantly looking for another set of lenses. And luckily, about 6 months ago, a set of lenses popped up on eBay. And we paid an astronomical amount of money for those 2 taillight lenses, but those are original 60 Pontiac taillight lenses, and they were in their boxes, which is really cool.
Is it the same thing with this bumper? Is it tucked in?
Yep, tucked in, the bolts have been shaved. This is actually would have been a 3-piece bumper, so we welded the bumper up, made it into one piece, and then all the hardware is gone.
And is it like what you guys usually do? You make your own exhaust? And
yeah,
then
this is all 2.5
MagnaFlow mufflers?
Absolutely, 2.5-inch stainless MagnaFlow muffler, kind of standard procedure.
Well, hell, if we haven't missed anything, I don't know if there's more stuff, but
let's go drive it. We can.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I want to go drive it, dude.
All right, let's do that.
Hey guys, I've recently discovered a company that I wanted to just share with you, partially because I'm a hardcore every morning coffee guy. I'm coffee before anything in the morning. So I discovered Jack's Garage Coffee Company, small little company in Temecula, California, hardcore car guys. As you can see here, an extraordinary facility full of wonderful vehicles, and this is a side project of theirs done by a master roaster producing extraordinary coffee. I'm holding a bag of the one that's become my favorite. It's called Old School. It's a medium roast. I literally drink this every single morning. I promise I wouldn't steer you wrong. Any of you guys that watch the channel on a regular basis, you know I'm an authentic guy. You know I say it how it is and what I think. What I think is this is a great coffee. I also love that it's done by car guys. And Jack's told me today that if you put in the discount code ATLA 2022 on an order, they're going to give you a 15% discount. And if you order $50 or more in coffee, you're also getting free shipping. Just wanted to throw it out to you guys because it's a brand you might not find otherwise. Jack's Garage Coffee Company. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. All right, so you guys might notice I'm dressed differently. I did my hair a little different. We were up here a couple of weeks ago. We shot everything like we normally do. Our interview with Jason, our B-roll stuff, our driving stuff. And then Jason called me over the weekend and he said, Sean, sorry, need you to come back up and shoot the driving stuff again. So Jason took the car out over the weekend, put about 100 miles on it, and said the sound of it was driving him nuts. And so he decided to do some different stuff to the exhaust. What he did was added a cross pipe, which is going to change things, obviously. The bigger piece is he now went from where the exhaust was exiting in front of the back tire. He actually went up and over the rear end. And now the exhaust exit is coming out the back of the car. He said he really didn't like the sound of the car. This thing's a cruiser, and his idea was he wanted it to be a little quieter. And he definitely quieted the car down, but it also definitely sounds better. you know, I'm one of those guys, I go back and forth, right? Sometimes I really like loud exhaust depending on the kind of car, but this thing's such a cruiser that I think it's kind of cool. When I drove it before, it did have a little bit of drone to it. It was kind of loud, almost like side exit exhaust. Now, you know, I mean, I'm just cruising along. Gosh, what am I, 50-ish miles an hour? When I just, you know, roll on, I mean, the car just kicks down. It's the kind of thing I love about Jason is he's that detailed about the stuff he builds that he wanted to make sure that was right for his client. Everything else about this car, man, it just feels good. I really like manual brakes. I mean, in a car like this, if it had a power assist brake, I definitely wouldn't gripe about it. But at the same time, I do really like the feel of manual brakes. There's plenty of brake, that's for sure. You'll also notice there's no shoulder harnesses or shoulder straps here. Lap belt, you know, I like a little more than that these days given the, you know, what happened last year. But tell you what, man, sound aside, the power for what this is feels great. Suspension feels great. The car feels solid and planted on the road. I mean, this is definitely another one from Jason, which is kind of funny because Jason and his crew are known for building some pretty radical pro touring cars. That Corvette we shot recently and now this one that are total cruisers. I mean, and with this style seating, like I really want my girl right here and honestly just kind of bail on everything for the weekend. It's funny too, it's for Jason, it's a fairly simple one and that's his description of it. But it sure is a nice driver. I love their attention to detail at Timeless Kustoms about building cars that you can, you know, enjoyably, safely drive down the road. And when you put your foot in it, there's, you know, there's some car there. I don't know, I got no gripe. I think this car's bitchin' actually, man. I really like this thing. I'm curious, I got to imagine there's going to be a lot of comments on the color of this car, the color choice on this car. This is one of those colors, and I told Jason, it's like a couple shades away from being a color that I think is just awful. That said, I really like the color on this car, man. Bright goldish yellow BMW color mixed with all the gray trim everywhere. What a great looking car. Definitely a polarizing look. I mean, something tells me this is going to be a love it or hate it kind of color combo. I think it's cool. Is it a color I would paint my car? I don't know. I mean, but I do really like it a lot. And I think it's very fitting of this car. This car's, while it's subtle in certain instances, it's also pretty radical how far they went into this thing. I'm getting old, aren't I, you guys? I'm starting to more and more like these cruisers rather than the hair-raising, tire-spinning freak show vehicles that we experience sometimes. Steering's really cool on it. I like that it's a bit tough to steer, but not, you know? I like that it's not a floaty, like just buttery. It's smooth. It's an easy driving car. And Jason, I totally agree, dude. It sounds way better. Not just that it's quieter, but it sounds better. Curious your thoughts, you guys. Manual or powered brakes? What do you prefer? And do you prefer one over the other on a different type of car? I still like the feel of manual. I kind of like planting your foot in the brake. And at the same time, this being such a cruiser car, I don't know, powered brake wouldn't suck on here. What's your preference? Do you have one? Well, between the previous drive of this car and now this drive, I've probably spent about 20, 30 minutes cruising this thing around, putting my foot in it a bit, you know, being respectful. Jason asked me to not go too hard on it. He flat out asked me not to do any burnouts. Super solid, planted on the road, lots of brake, plenty of power to get up and move. The automatic shift's great. When you put your foot in it, it kicks down quickly. When you're cruising, it's sitting in this overdrive mode. I mean, it's really just a nicely built driver car, man. Massive thanks to Jason and for taking the time to always shoot with us, letting me wander off like this in a car that's, you know, not a cheap one, that's for sure. trusting that I won't beat on it, that I'll be respectful, and that I'll give him an honest opinion. Jason actually respects my opinion as a guy that's driven a lot of cars. So bottom line is, man, really bitchin' car. I got nothing negative to say about this one, other than maybe I'd love to have some more seat time in it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's really been fun shooting this car and getting some seat time, and I'll see you in the next episode. All right, you guys, later.
Yeah.